Hey guys, Anders here. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be a major update to my previous Battlefield 2042 settings video. I'm making this video because they added new settings that we need to go over, and I've learned some things about how to make the game run really well, or at least better, because this game doesn't run really well for anybody. But if you're wondering, for you console player guys, this video will help you as well, because most of the things in this video is applicable to console, not just PC. So you don't have to worry about that. As always, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Really does help the channel out. Thank you guys so much for hitting 22,000 subscribers. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get into something. So before we get into the settings in the game, we have to make sure the settings outside of the game are also up to snuff. So for you guys with NVIDIA graphics cards, and I'm sure there's an AMD equivalent, you're going to want to right click on your desktop here and go to the NVIDIA control panel. So you're going to want to go to the upper left hand corner here to manage 3D settings, and you're going to want to copy every single setting you see here. I will scroll very slowly, and you can pause at any time just to copy them. Make sure you have exactly what I have here. Now that we have that out of the way, we can go to display. Make sure your monitors are running at the highest refresh rate. Don't be that guy that buys a 240 hertz monitor and never sets it to 240 hertz. Make sure you're getting the maximum performance out of here. And then we're going to navigate to your File Explorer down here to the Documents section of Battlefield 2042. So you're going to want to open your File Explorer, go to Documents, go to Battlefield 2042, Settings. This is very important. There is a major problem with Battlefield 2042 where it will reset each and every single one of your settings seemingly at random. Westy recently tweeted that this is the 14th time the game has done that to him. So in order to partially prevent this, when you get your game all set up just how you like it, come to this Documents folder, find your ProfSave and ProfSave profile, then you're going to want to copy and then paste that to your desktop. If your settings reset, you can then just drag the files that you just pasted to your desktop right in this folder, and it'll save you a ton of things that you will have to redo otherwise. Now, there are other settings you can set in here as well. You can come in here and search for weapon depth of field. You're going to want to turn that off. It's down here at the bottom, GST render weapon depth of field. This will just get rid of some really unneeded blur that you can't turn off otherwise. And you can also set your mouse sensitivity in this document as well. As you find the command here, GST input.mouse sensitivity. What you're going to want to do is you're going to come over here to mousesensitivity.com. I'll have it linked in the description. If you don't know how this works, I'll explain it to you briefly. You want to go over here just to convert from game. You want to type Battlefield 2042. And you're going to want to know your mouse DPI, for instance, minus 1600. Come up over here to the top. Change this to distance. Now, if you don't know your distance per 360, then you can set this to sensitivity and come over here and go to in-game. And then you can just fill all this stuff in, and you'll get an output down here. You can just copy paste that directly into this document. File save, boom, sensitivity completely done. Now that we have this stuff out of the way, let's go to the actual in-game settings. All right, now we're going to go over the in-game settings. Quick note about the mouse input / controller input aim feel. As far as I'm aware, the mouse input and controller aim assist plus just the feel of aiming in general is just universally bugged because DICE can't seem to actually make a proper video game anymore, and there's really nothing you can do about that. All you have to do is tweak your sensitivity to where it feels most comfortable to you, and basically good luck. Anyway, you're going to want to come over here to your options, go to the general section, make sure share usage data is off. Go over here to the display section, make sure you're playing in full screen. I understand some people like playing in full screen borderless, but if you want the best performance, you just have to play in full screen. That's really it. Make sure you're playing at the correct resolution and current refresh rate of your monitor. Field of view is completely personal preference, as well as ADS field of view. As far as graphics settings, you're going to want to come down here, make sure motion blur is turned completely off, as well as chromatic aberration and vignette. And the fact of the matter is, if you want the most frames in games, you're going to have to play at the lowest settings. This game looks like it's on ultra when it's on low anyway, so just turn all of your settings down to low here. As far as the advanced graphics settings, this is system dependent for two settings here. For my system, and I have tested this multiple times, DLSS and future frame rendering does absolutely nothing for my system's performance. This is going to be system dependent. you're going to have to test yourself whether or not these settings do anything for you. For my system, and I have a very high-end computer, these settings do not do anything. And this is backed up by my friend Freethy, who also basically said it does nothing for him either. If you don't know who Freethy is, he's very well known in the PC kind of sweaty optimization community. So if you don't believe me, maybe you'll take his word. So yeah, mess with these settings, DLSS and future frame rendering to your liking. One setting I would recommend having on is NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. If you can turn this on, make sure it's enabled plus boost. That should make the game feel slightly better. And make sure VSync is off, unless you're doing some weird thing where you're capping your frame rate using VSync and G-Sync in a tandem. But if you're not doing that, make sure it's vertical sync off. Come over here to HUD General at the very top of your screen. Make sure the HUD is turned on, unless you're like some super milsim gamer dad that enjoys immersion, which is completely fine. I mean, you can play the game however you want. Come down here, make sure HUD motion is turned off. Make sure camera shake amount is turned all the way down. I don't want to have a seizure while playing my game. As far as soldier compass, this is a personal preference thing. When I play video games, I don't look at the compass, especially not when I'm playing Battlefield. You can have this on or off, it doesn't really matter. If you want custom colors, come over here to the colorblind section here. Make sure it's set to custom. You can change all these colors yourself. As far as world log, make sure your kill field is turned on and show kills made by is set to all. This will give you some information as to what people, what weapons are being used in the vicinity. Sometimes you can get some interesting information off of that. Come over here to the crosshair section. The most important setting you want to have turned off in here is crosshair projection. Turn this off. It's a terrible setting. It's just awful. Make sure it's actually turned off. As far as anything else in here, you can customize your hit indicators to your liking, your damage indicators, the thickness of certain things. And yeah, that's really it. Minimap, again, personal preference, set it up how you like it. Now, this is the most important news section of this settings video. This will help you with a ton of things. This will get rid of screen clutter. This will help visibility. It's an essential part of Battlefield, basically. You're going to want to come over here to the objective icons. You can change the scaling of them if you like. I just leave them how they are. Now, the opacity sliders are the real bread and butter here. I make sure that there's just as little useless information on my screen as possible. And to do that, you're going to want to reduce the opacity of things. So I reduce the opacity to 45 unzoomed, and I completely get rid of the objective icons when I'm zoomed. Because when I'm shooting at somebody, I don't need to know whether or not I'm on the C flag, right? So just turn that down to 0. For friendly icons, I reduce the opacity, and I also reduce the opacity in zoom. Again, do the same thing for squad icons. This is kind of personal preference. I find that there are a ton of people in Battlefield 2042 near me all the time because obviously they doubled the player count. I find to get rid of some of that screen clutter, I liked reducing the opacity of even my teammates. You can do that for squad icons as well. As far as enemy icons, you're going to want to make sure that these are set to 100% because they're enemies. You're going to want to see them. So make sure zoom is 100%, opacity is 100%, and scaling, you can even make it bigger if you want. Hey, I just leave it default, but you can do whatever you want. Neutral icons, I leave this default except for zoom to turn that down to 0. It's probably useless information. Get it off my screen. And for ping marker, I reduce the opacity and zoom a little bit as well. Sometimes it can get in the way if your teammates are spamming pings. As far as sound, you can come in here and update it to your liking. I find the 3D headphone setting in this game is actually pretty good. I think the audio in this game, specifically for footsteps, is actually really good. So, try 3D headphones, but if you have stereo headphones or, if you like war tapes, you can do whatever you want here. This is another new setting, voice chat. Come in here if you want to use VoIP. I personally don't use VoIP, I use Discord. So, yeah, that's where you find that. Now, we're going to go into the controller settings here. Keep in mind, what I'm going to mention here is not for controller players. I don't play in controller. I am sorry. This is for PC players. Now, because this game is absolutely fucking terrible, controller settings apparently affect mouse input, and this was discovered by my friend shortly after the game came out. I'm not sure if they fixed this, but it doesn't hurt to change it just to make sure that you have it changed. So you're going to want to come over here to controller, on foot, scroll down to the advanced section. Make sure you turn off aiming left-right acceleration all the way to 0. Make sure your vertical aim ratio is 100. And make sure you match your uniform soldier aiming coefficient to the one that is found in your mouse and keyboard settings as well, right here. Now, as far as any other settings we can go over, you want to come over here in accessibility. This menu just allows you to find some of the things a little easier. Allows you to find the colorblind settings a little easier, motion blur, HUD motion, camera shake, crosshair projection, all that stuff. Subtitles as well as controls. Now, as far as some other things that I picked up along the way, if you want to rebind your plus system menu, which is the quick change attachment system, I found the best way to do that is to actually come over here and I rebound it to my mouse button. And another interesting thing, I'll put a clip up on the screen right now of me doing it. You can actually hit 1, 2, 3, or 4 on your keyboard to cycle through the different trees of attachments. There will be a number within the center of the cross of the attachment system that will tell you what row is what number. So what I do is I hold the button down on the side of my mouse, and if I want to switch ammo, I'll just hit the button, and you can do it super fast, as you'll see in the footage in the background. So that is really it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll be posting regularly, and I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. If you have any questions in the comments, I will try to answer them to the best of my ability, and I hope this video helps some people out. I will see you guys in the next one.